Welcome, everybody, to the inaugural NIL Summit and NIL Awards.
In July 2022, Atlanta hosted what might sound like a boring legal seminar, a conference on the new rules around name, image, and likeness in sports. But far from dry and academic, the first annual NIL Summit was in fact a flashy, star-studded event put on at the College Football Hall of Fame. And mingling amid the biggest current and former names in sports and media, there was a crucial cohort, the players poised to redefine what it means to be a modern college athlete.
And the winner of Male Athlete of the Year goes to Chase Griffin.
Among those up-and-comers, UCLA's Chase Griffin. The UCLA quarterback is among the students becoming as well known for making deals as making plays. And even in that group, Chase stands out.
My name is Chase Griffin.
What's up, everyone? It's Chase Griffin.
It's your favorite quarterback's favorite quarterback, Chase Griffin.
When you look at it as an empowerment equity opportunity, it's really been unmatched in the sports world for any point in time since Title IX.
Ready, race, go.
After hardly a full year of name, image, and likeness deals being a reality, he already has more than 20 deals with major brands, venture, and charitable groups, all the while balancing graduating undergrad in just 2 years and fighting for playing time on the field.
Chase Griffin out of the gun.
We are joined by UCLA quarterback Chase Griffin. Not just UCLA quarterback, but name, image, likeness superstar. I am psyched for this one.
This kid could actually be the president of the United States someday.
Chase isn't the starting quarterback for UCLA. He's not even the backup quarterback. But back on campus in LA, his nickname is President Chase. And after spending a couple days talking about his approach to business, sports, and equality, it's not shocking to think he might someday hold that office.
His level of focus and maturity at this stage, I only wish I had.
If you want to buy stock in a human being, buy stock in Chase Griffin.
When it comes to building generational wealth, it's not about the money that you make in college. I'm very excited that I made the amount of money that I made last year. I am even 10 times more excited that I know how to make that money.
Summer on any college campus is mostly for the athletes who are on lighter but still regimented schedules. Attending classes, working out, a little bit of hanging out, and then more working out on their own time. Chase is no exception. The 21-year-old is a backup, albeit an impatient one. In the topsy-turvy past couple of seasons, dotted with fanless games and COVID protocols, he's been able to start 3 games for the Bruins.
Griffin gonna throw to the end zone, wide open again, touchdown UCLA!
Beating Arizona and narrowly losing to both Stanford and Oregon.
That was inches away from Chase Griffin and UCLA being in full-fledged comeback mode.
For Chase, UCLA felt like destiny. He was born just a few miles away before his family moved to Texas when he was a toddler. But beyond being a sort of homecoming, the school's history of athlete activism was a massive draw.
I always expected from myself to have some sort of impact that was beneficial for more people than I interact with on a daily basis. And in choosing UCLA, a lot of that went into me seeing myself as someone who reflected the same want to make things better that so many of the people that UCLA prides itself upon being the home for have done in the past.
The legacies of former UCLA greats like Arthur Ashe, Jackie Robinson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Jackie Joyner-Kersee have had a wide-ranging impact on society well beyond the Westwood campus. Chase reveres these people, but he's perhaps most keenly aware of the activism of a more recent Bruin alum, the basketball player Ed O'Bannon.
Ed O'Bannon, who was Naismith Player of the Year national champ, UCLA sports legend, is also a legal hero. I think NIL could be the next installment where we look back in 30, 40, 50 years And God willing, if we give him the roses he deserves, we add Ed O'Bannon to that list of UCLA greats.
O'Bannon, who played at UCLA from 91 to 95, initiated a lawsuit that's widely credited for finally opening up the possibility of college athletes being paid for use of their name, image, and likeness. He sued the NCAA and video game publisher EA for antitrust violations, arguing that athletes should be entitled to financial compensation when schools use their likeness for gain. In 2014, a judge ruled in his favor.
I don't think he was congratulating you. What was your call?
And then, on an episode of The Shop, surrounded by O'Bannon, Diana Taurasi, and LeBron James, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed the first ultimately successful legislation to allow athletes to receive endorsement deals. The Fair Pay to Play Act led other states to follow suit and ultimately led the NCAA in 2021 to relent, seemingly reluctantly. NIL payments were officially allowed as of July 1st, 2021.
Today is the last day where name, image, and likeness laws will not be on the books, and kids will not be, if you will, not allowed to make money off of their name, image, and likeness.
Making money from jersey sales and endorsement deals is a way for players to share in the massively lucrative world of college athletics.
This NIL thing is the wild, wild west.
The NIL change felt like many things that happened very slowly and then it happened very fast. And I wonder for you, having contemplated that maybe this was coming at some point, how prepared were you? What was your mindset when the switch flipped?
Right. I mean, I still think everyone's trying to get prepared for that industry. It's still sort of like a wild, wild west. I wasn't really expecting anything. I was more just thinking about, honestly, getting ready for that season. Right. and capitalizing on everything that was happening. When NIL hit and it turned out I had action, I was like, oh, okay, well, after this degree deal, which was fantastic, I was like, okay, I see how I can be a staple in this game, and I see how I can get better over time.
That's why I teamed up with my friends at Shell.
And then Shell deal hit, and then Boost Mobile deal hit. And then you keep on building Clear Cover. Like, you keep on building, and you get better in the meetings. And most of all, you start seeing where your value can be best placed in these new opportunities.
The headlines and storylines in the aftermath of the NIL change introduced visions of instant millionaires strolling campuses across the nation. You might think the NIL Athlete of the Year lives in splendor, or at least in one of those athletic palaces that put most of our college dorms to shame. Well, it's all relative to Chase.
All right, Jason.
So here we are, world headquarters.
Yep, this is where it all happens. So this is the kitchen right here. I actually really enjoy cooking.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this gas oven gets really hot really fast, so I make pizzas in there. This is the best appliance since the iPhone. Air fryer, you can put anything in there. I need to do these dishes right here.
So, no trappings of success yet, more a pretty average college dorm room. The fridge filled with leftovers, a well-used PS4, and of course, the requisite Godfather poster. It's a far cry from the lifestyles seen in some local news reports for NIL athletes during this first year.
Bijan Robinson made headlines with an NIL deal with Lamborghini Austin.
Lamborghinis tend to make more headlines than Muhammad Ali or Bruce Lee pictures. Some athletes are living in mansions, driving Lamborghinis. As far as I know, you're doing neither of those things. I see where you're living right here. It is, with all due respect, not a mansion.
Okay.
How much of that is a conscious choice, and what does it say about sort of your approach to this?
Right. I mean, first off, I look at this as, look, it's my own room. It got everything I need. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with living below my means. I think it's important to remember that the volume of financial gain is completely overstated. And that's sort of y'all's fault in the media. You know, when someone hears about a $5 million or $10 million deal, you gotta report it like, oh my goodness, people are gonna read this. I'd count two things, like how many kids are even getting these deals? And then for the kids that do get it, how much of that is in liquid cash and how much of it is in assets? If you pay for a $2 million house out here in LA for a kid to stay in college, that's great, but as soon as they're graduated, they're not going to have that $2 million
Yeah.
house. I say the same thing, you know, for the kids who are driving around in Lamborghinis and stuff like that. That's awesome. Like, that's super dope. And I know some of those kids. But, you know, someone paying for your lease is different than someone actually giving you the value of that lease every single month. You're investing in it, saving it, 401k, et cetera. I say all that just to mention that product deals and stuff like that are overhyped by the media, and they also can land kids in some trouble if they're not paying taxes on it.
That's one of the distinctly unsexy and easy to overlook elements of the new rules. Even if an athlete's not getting cold hard cash from a deal, the value of any products given are subject to state and federal taxes. So suddenly, what a player sees as free gear in return for some social media posts actually equals taxable income. And that requires the same forms you'd fill out as an independent contractor getting a check.
I made a fair amount in NIL deals, and I invested all of it. In my opinion, NIL is great. Doing all this is great. Making money now is great. But the most valuable thing I've gotten from all of this is the fact I'll always know how to make money off of myself.
All told, Chase has done more than 20 deals with major brands like Degree, Shell, and Boost Mobile, along with venture stage companies including Discord, Duffel, and Creative Juice. He's also made a point to work with charities like the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, where he's already raised funds for almost 60,000 meals.
There's a song by Griffin. I heard the opening. I liked it. I just took that opening and I pitched it slow, or I think I sped it.
At his desk, when he's not making music, another side project, he's either networking with CEOs or investors he seeks out, or who seek him out, or negotiating new deals.
Hey, Mallory.
Hi, Chase. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm turning on my camera right now.
Yeah, no worries.
This is an average NIL deal. A brand approaches an athlete who can help spread their message to a demographic they believe the athlete can help reach. In this case, DirecTV is looking to market their NFL Sunday Ticket to college students.
It would be 2 posts, 1 post late August and 1 post the first week of September. And the compensation would be $1,200 per post,
Okay.
so it would be $400 total.
Right, perfect. Are they video posts or are they, pick and caption?
They can be either. It's up to you guys.
That was pretty good. 400 above what they had originally asked, so that's a win. So yeah, I mean, at this point, after I do a Zoom or something like that, I either chill out, go back to laying down if I was watching a movie or something, or, go to YouTube to start looking for more samples.
This is presidential Chase.
It's a pretty simple interaction for Chase and for DirecTV, negotiated over a couple of emails and Zoom calls, and papered with a contract Chase will have his dad look over before he signs. And Chase, who's made himself as much of a student of the new NIL marketplace as he has of public policy at UCLA, says he understands why it's working.
A brand ambassadorship with an athlete is more attractive to these brands now as far as return on investment than even a post by a famous actor.
If there's any place to learn that sports are deep in the hearts of Americans, it's on a high school football field in Texas. Friday Night Lights in the Lone Star State might be the gridiron equivalent of Frank Sinatra's New York City. Making it there means you're something special.
Chase Griffin, quarterback, class of 19, Hutto, Texas.
And Chase didn't just make it, he excelled.
Let's talk about some of the top quarterbacks in the state. And when you look at that list at the top of it, you got to talk about Chase Griffin.
I was lucky to play 3 years as a quarterback for Hutto High School, which is a one-horse town. We had great success. And so the town really shut down and came out and supported us every Friday night.
Chase drops straight back,
DJ
and
right
he is
there.
wide open if he can catch it.
Nice.
He does! Touchdown, Hippos!
Chase, one word to describe that finish to that game.
God, that's it.
coming from a town like that where football is so prioritized, it has its pros and cons, but I think on the pro side, I learned how to win, how to get better, and most importantly, what it's like to build a team where everyone gets better.
Emulating his UCLA alumni like Robinson, Joyner Kersee, and Abdul-Jabbar, Chase is looking at the impact NIL will have not just for him, but the athletes that will follow.
When the predecessors who have come before you have changed the world and made life better for everyone today, you can't help but ask yourself how the actions that you're taking now and the companies and brands in the NIL space that you work with are all cumulatively building something greater than any of us could foresee. I've never moderated, so this will be my first time. Should be fun. I know my handwriting's terrible.
The last day of the conference, Chase was asked to co-moderate a panel with Monique Nelson, the CEO for Uniworld Group.
All right, I'm excited to be here.
Uniworld Group is one of the longest-standing multicultural advertising and marketing agencies in the United States. The firm works with brands like Ford, Home Depot, and Johnson & Johnson to help reach the Black and Brown communities. And they have big ambitions in NIL.
For Uniworld Group, the idea of this was pretty epic in that because we serve the undervalued, the overlooked, and the underserved, we knew that this particular group of people would fall into that category. And we plan on being the premier practice for NIL athletes that are looking to do purpose-driven media, advertising, community-level engagement work.
UWG launched a program called The Nile to help Black student athletes partner with major brands. But to help them understand how to do that, they brought on Chase to serve as a student athlete executive in residence.
For me, I do nothing without tremendous amounts of data for all of our clients. I really wanted to be thoughtful about this practice being very athlete-centric. If I were to build it or anyone on my team were to build it, it would not have the athlete at the core.
When you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, the best way to have credibility is confidence. And the only way for confidence is to be authentic. I'm actually learning on the job. I'm learning about the brand side of NIL, but I'm also trying to make sure that empowerment and equity is built in, especially for Black student athletes in the NIL world. ROI, return on investment.
Both Chase and UWG see NIL deals as something much more than making money for students. It's also a potential investment in a community long overlooked.
I think we're getting ready to stock boxes, trying to feed the people of LA.
A piece of each of Chase's NIL deals go to his Believe brand campaign, which has raised more than $13,000 for meals for the LA Food Bank backpack program. But athletes giving back is only one side.
I'm here with LegalZoom to give you 5 tips on the NIL game plan.
UWG and Chase believe having brands investing in the athletes, especially athletes of color, can be a force multiplier for these historically marginalized communities.
When you look at the revenue generating sports, football and basketball, 88% of those athletes are Black. So when you're doing stuff to empower student athletes in the NIL space, you're also helping to deliver on your promise. Now, student athletes are not the only ones who should receive this help by any means. But statistically, by doing that, you're going to be delivering on your mission. Additionally, student athletes on average come from lower levels of income. So you're also delivering on that promise. And a lot of these student athletes are first generation. They're first gen college students. Some of them first gen high school diploma. Some of them first time receiving the amount of money that they receive in their families.
This has been a wild first year in NIL. We all knew that there would be bags of cash around, right? There's always been bags of cash. There's cash everywhere. What we know is that that's not sustainable. We know that athletics has an expiration date on it. So for us, inclusion ultimately means this is just a part of you. It is a tremendous part of you, and we are going to celebrate that part of you, but we also know that you're bigger than that. So we want to empower you to live past your expiration date for this part of your life, and quite honestly, have equity in everything that you have poured yourself into as an NIL athlete.
It may still be the Wild West days for the NIL industry, but in the first year, about $1 billion in business was done with NCAA athletes. For the early leaders in the NIL space like Chase, they're striking a precedent for athletes that follow them. And that's important because collegiate athletes don't have that much time to profit. Only an estimated 2% of NCAA athletes go on to the pros. Even the hardest working are often limited by things they can't control. For Chase, it's been his height.
I'm 5'10" now. In high school, after my sophomore year when I threw for 3,000 yards, I was probably like 5'6", 5'5". I mean, I could arguably say I'm one of the best in the history of Texas high school football. But, you know, I've gone through the height test where they'll call you out of class, shake your hand, look at you up and down, and be like, nice to meet you, you go back to class.
It's a sad but timeless story for student athletes. And for Chase, his story is something he's not shied away from, but embraced when it comes to his NIL deals.
I'm frequently the smallest person on the football field, but I always strive to be the most impactful.
My middle school coach told me that I would never play in high school.
Chase's deals with Degrees Breaking Limits team and Clear Covers Inspired Underdogs allowed him to capitalize financially from football, even though last season he never saw the field for UCLA.
I play football because I love the game. I play the football because I'm a good competitor. I love to compete. And I play football because I'm good at it. At the end of the day, I don't play football for my livelihood, which is important to remember when it comes down to identity. I'm myself, Chase Griffin. As long as I'm that, I got something in this world.
As he moves into the new season and focuses more on football than business, Chase doesn't see much of a differentiation between the two in terms of his mindset.
I wouldn't be surprised if I wasn't playing football in 5 years and was running a Fortune 500 company, but I also wouldn't be surprised if I was winning a Super Bowl 5-10 years from now. And either way, I'm gonna keep on working at the tools that would align myself and my future with both. And at the end of the day, you're always gonna have yourself. If you can make profit off of yourself and know where you add value, in any world you're in, you'll be able to adapt and find ways to generate wealth for yourself.